Merry me, Annie here. And yes, you're looking at an empty working table. And we are going to talk a little bit about visualization. And that working table is going to help us a little bit as I discuss a couple of different things you can try. Now, part one of this video was about meditation. And it was indeed a response to struggles some of you are having with meditation. Visualization and developing the skills of visualization will lead you to a place where you can meditate. Get to whatever is your personal quiet place easier. So, visualization. We are trying to see something which is not there. In a world where by our nature, by our biological being, we rely on the senses that tell us what is here and how we perceive it in this physical world. So we are trying to have our minds embrace the concept of something which is not there, which we can see as clearly as something which is there. You're running into it in the books you read and in the YouTube videos you watch and all throughout the internet. The importance of the skill of visualization, working in your circle and working magic, and I could not agree with that more. What you were sharing with me is the frustration level you feel that you get an exercise in a book and you try it and it doesn't work for you, and then what? You're left hanging and you're actually being left feeling like you were set up to fail. Visualization is something that I have never had a student who in the end didn't develop their own technique for dealing with it. So, let's start with a very simple visualization exercise. Visualizing this table. Now some of you who are watching this, as you see my hand move over this table, you can almost feel it yourself. You have the innate ability to do that. Many of us, though, struggle with this, and I appreciate what so many of you brought to me in your questions because it was not easy for me to begin with. So line yourself up in front of any kind of a surface. Feel it. Watch it. As I move my hand around, I'm feeling the grain. I'm seeing the colors. I'm noticing my hand on it. And then I close my eye. And I use the senses I have outside of seeing. I'm feeling the grain. I'm feeling this division that's down the middle of this table. This is a training exercise that is so simple. If you can't see it, you open your eyes and you spend more time focusing on it. Close your eyes and see if you can feel it in a non-physical way. That doesn't work for everybody. Let me give you some suggestions on exercises that you can try. When we work with visualization, what we are in essence trying to do is see something which we know, but which is not here physically. We're almost always duplicating something that we know of on this side that we are seeing on the other side. Yes, we can take a next step and visualize things which we've never seen on this side, but we first want to be able to duplicate things that we feel on the other side. So let's do some intro to exercises that you might try. So I'm going to start by covering the table. Then again, here's an exercise in and of itself. Texture, what something feels like. It was like this, feeling what the wood feels like. This is my tarot cloth. It's black velvet. It has a very specific feel to it. By feeling its essence in the physical sense, I can then, using that same technique, close my eyes and see it in something other than the physical. Again, like with the table, if it doesn't work, if I don't feel it, open my eyes and look at it. close my eyes, feel it in the sense that I make it real in my mind and can imagine it moving through my hand and see it in a way that I create that's not physical. The tactile ability to conceive of something spatially and then hold it in your mind is an exercise that's very powerful. Because what you'll want to do is, when you get to the point that you feel this at a level other than just the physical, then you take your hands in the same motion as if you were feeling it without it being physically present. You need a cue, you feel it. And the reason I'm suggesting to this is, when we are having problems with visualization, sometimes it's because we are a creature of another sense. The way something feels, the way something smells. There are other things about something that can trigger a part of our brain that will recognize it when it's not in the physical. Here's some exercises you might want to try other than playing with your cloth. A shape that you know well. First, spend time looking at every nuance of that apple. Notice all the shades of coloring in it. Notice everything about its shape and its physicality without touching it, using your eyes. And then, it won't surprise you to know, hold it. Hold it while you're looking at it and feel what it feels like. This apple is actually very cold. I took it out of the refrigerator before I came in here. It's very cold and it is damp. And it's very smooth, waxy feeling. I can feel what is not waxy and smooth about it, where it has blemishes, where it has marks, where the stem is. On the other side, I can feel the indentation and the shape changes. So what I'm doing then is adding to having watched it carefully, then what does it feel like in addition to watching it? And then I want to hold it while moving my hands and see if I can close my eyes and see it in front of me. Now I just did this quickly for you, but it could actually take some time that you do this, that you work on this particular form of meditation. If you're having problems with that, add the sense of smell to your visualization. You may be somebody, I have a friend who thinks she cannot visualize, but she can describe to you, and in fact she has in recent meditations, for instance, every nuance of what fall smells like. She has the most powerful awareness of existence on that level. She can feel powerfully, even if she would say she cannot visualize. So another aspect you can add to this, you have used sight, you have used touch, is cut it open. Smell it. You may find that your brain will react to that and retain the pattern of your memory of what this looks like. Hold it. Watch it, get to know it well. Close your eyes. Then hold it still and imagine you are seeing all of it. Put it down. Imagine that you're still holding it. And then release holding it at some point and know you're holding it just in your mind. An item that you know well is a place to start. Play with textures. Here's an idea for you. This is just a rock, one of my rocks that just hang around. It's a very rough surfaced rock. I'm playing with the texture of it and how it feels, getting to know it well. I'm going to close my eyes, and I know what part of this rock I am feeling then by the way it feels differently than other parts of the rock. Again, we're working with tactile, with touch, temperature. Compare that to working with a rock that is smooth, another texture altogether, and see what that might not be like. Again, you're trying to find out what parts of your brain trigger for you. Will it be touch? Will it be, rather than the object in your hand, will it be the shape of your hand around the object? That is important to you. Can you hold that was in your hand? If you do this and you hold it, and you feel the weight of it and the coolness or the warmth of it, and then you remove it. Can you still feel it in your hand? That's visualization. Grab anything that's near you. There's one of my mortars. And I am just going to spend time with my eyes closed, feeling all the details of it, trying to reconstruct that in my mind. Maybe I need to cup it and feel the difference of when it's in my hand and when it's not in my hand. Whatever it takes for me to feel it and know it in the real sense, and then to visualize it outside of that physical existence. Those of you who know I work with Sophia know that she doesn't like any of my rings to touch her, so we're going to take those off for a moment. Working with our crystals is often an experience of feeling them in the here and the now, and then visualizing them outside of what we were holding in our hands. They become a portal or a connection to us to the other side, and it is by our acknowledging the physical presence of them, and then knowing what they are that is not physical, kind of like the reflection of them. Working with the crystals and the spheres is very much working with the reflection of something. Sophia's palette can as well be a tactile expression of working with visualization, as holding Sophia is. Something as well known as my rings, same thing. Feel it and know it, and then see it beyond the physical. Working with a candle, the power of visualization there. We talked about that a little bit in the meditation video that I did first, which is all about seeing something, looking at it, closing our eyes and seeing it outside of the physical. Working with a flame is the best exercise I found for my brain to do with meditation and visualization. The first steps I took where I had success were in watching a candle. I watched that candle with no expectations of it. I simply watched it to see what it was, to analyze everything about its color and form and shape, and then to close my eyes. And because our eyes are really good at holding that light pattern for a moment behind our closed eyes, if we have watched a flame for a bit, it lives on in the pattern in behind our eyes, our closed eyelids. We actually have the luxury of working with flame, that there is a memory of it that lives on when we close our eyes, and we can focus on that candle, and we can keep that memory alive if we practice this for some length of time. And here's another form of visualization that may help you as you are learning. I have been meaning to share my books of the land. I have 2 of them for some time now, and I have not. I will probably do a video on them now because I feel funny mentioning them without doing the video I promised a couple of you. My book of the land is a collection of pictures that I have stolen from all kinds of places over the years. Magazines, books, calendars, any place where I find beautiful and inspirational pictures, and I have put them together. Working on visualization is finding a photograph, and working online you can do this very easily by finding pictures that you like, scenes that you can imagine yourself being in the middle of. This one here, standing at the edge looking out over a valley with mountains and clouds in the background. The visualization key here is to put yourself in the picture. Put yourself in the picture and look at it, and imagine yourself standing in front of it and looking at it. Some like to start that out like they're looking at a painting or looking out a window, one step distant from the picture. Then actually moving themselves to being in the picture. Standing in this cool place full of fog, looking at this tree. Feeling the coolness of this rockscape. looking out over these mountains. The technique here, for those of you who have a little bit of a struggle with meditation and visualization, is look at it as if it is a painting, then as if you're looking out. See if I can get closer for you. Then as if you're looking out a window, so it is in reality in front of you. And then have yourself on the other side of the window, actually standing at the edge of the landscape and looking out into it. Do this with photographs of places you have been that you know, that you recognize first. And then there's it's great fun. It's like exploring existence, exploring the world, is to then find the ones that you find that you want to investigate that are places you have never been and will never be except in your imagination. There's a technique for developing seeing and being in something which does not exist. You may have tried some of these things. What I'm hoping is there's at least a couple of things that are new for you that will give you an idea of something to try. In visualization, the importance is, if you are struggling with it, and some of us will, is that you work with what you know and then imagine it in the non-physical. And I'm saying you know this. If you smell evergreen, your brain knows it's a pine tree. If you smell cookies baking, you know there's a cookie. Your brain knows this. This is the place you want to go. This is great fun to explore, this visualization aspect of what your brain can do. I find it the first step. Meditation flows out of the skills you learn about visualizing, the power of knowing that I just traced a pentagram on here. There's no pentagram. But you saw me draw it. You can see it in the sense that you know it is there. You may not see something as specifically clear as the next person, but you will see it in the way your brain knows it and recognizes it. You will get there. I can promise you that. Use your meditation time to be times to experiment at this early point in your practices with being quiet, letting nothing interfere with you, being still. And I say, out of your work with visualization, which is very important, you will then be able to add a depth to meditation that is beyond just being still. I wish you quiet times, still times, and I wish that you see so many things that are not physically present. And I wish you mirth and reverence. Mary Part.